What's up, YouTube family? People over here on X and on Facebook. You got the bishop coming live at you tonight. And it's a scholarly presentation, Rabbinical Judaism as a part of, as a Persian construct. It's not Hebrew. By me, the bishop. You can look it up on my Substack, too. And if you go to community, you can look in there. There's a link to my Substack. And you can read along with me, because I'm going to read, but I'm going to give you my thoughts. Introduction. The history of Judaism, as popularly understood, is based on assumptions largely derived from biblical texts. However, recent scholarship suggests that much of what we know as Judaism and the language of Hebrew is not ancient or authentic as traditionally believed. Instead, Judaism seems to have developed under significant Persian influence during and after the Persian Empire's control over Jerusalem, rendering it a product of Pharisaic or Persian origins, not indigenous Hebrew tradition. The presentation will examine the archaeological gaps, historical inconsistencies, and Persian influence that challenge the narrative of a continuous ancient Hebrew culture. Well, I'll stop there for a second. It's my contention, in my argument, that Hebrew never existed. I don't know where the word came from, but I can imagine there's a word called Hipperu. It is an Egyptian, which kind of means crazy people who lived in the mountains. And it also, according to Dr. Litwa, unless I'm reading this wrong, that they were part of maybe the Shazu tribe who worshipped Yahweh, right? Okay, do you understand? All right. The Persian influence on Judaism. Jerusalem under Persian control. The Second Temple in Jerusalem. Stop there. I wrote this, but only so you to understand and have a point of reference. I don't believe there was ever a first temple in Jerusalem. I mean, there's second. It's just one. Was commissioned and financed by the Persian Empire. It was actually built by the Persian. And they call them Jews, but Persians. People who lived in. Here's the thing. It's a catch. It's like a real sneaky, clever way of hiding stuff. Like I try to break this down for people. Yehuda, Judah, there was no J, so it's Yehuda, Yehudeo, whatever, right? It's people who live there. Well, like I said, in any major city or any metropolis or any cosmopolitan city, like London, England, or New York City, people who live there are called New Yorkers, but they don't all share a religion. They're all diverse people, and they come from different backgrounds. So, for the word Judaism means people from the Judea. It was just later on added and made into religion by rabbinicals. We'll go into that. Excuse me. It says here. Let me start over. Jerusalem under Persian control. The Second Temple, or the first, in Jerusalem was commissioned and financed by the Persian Empire. Cyrus the Great allowed exiles to return and rebuild Jerusalem's temple, Ezra 1-4. However, the Persian role in constructing and influencing the religious practices of the returning population suggests that Judaism as we know it was heavily Persianized. We'll see another one, frame of reference. I don't believe there was ever Judaism. I believe that the whole area was Persian. I don't believe in because listen, the evidence, there is no evidence, but that's okay. There is none. You've been led to believe something that's completely not true. The Pharisees as Persian-inspired clergy. The term Pharisee derives from the Aramaic word Perushim. Perushim, like you have a Perusian, it's like a clergy at the church, but it means separatists, is what the direct translation means. separatist. So if you're a Persian, which is separatist, which shares ideological similarities with Persian religious thought. Scholars like Jacob Neusner argue that the Pharisaic movement, foundational to Rabbinical Judaism, emerged under Persian influence and had a focus on legal purity and dualistic thinking similar to, or just like, Zoroastrianism. If you ever wonder where the devil comes from, you just look up dualism under Zoroastrianism. Of course, they had a good god, Ahura Mazda, and I forget the name of the devil, or the bad god. And then you have this choice, or you've always got to be on guard, whatever, fighting the bad god, which is total nonsense. The Hebrew language, now let's take a real close look at this language. There's no such thing, but absence of pre-1 CE Hebrew text. There are no known Hebrew writings from the 1st century CE apart from the text embedded in biblical manuscripts, which cast doubt on the authenticity of Hebrew as an ancient indigenous language. Scholars note that the script associated with early Hebrew is derived from Canaan Phoenician roots, practically the same language, and I'll argue that it is the same language, indicting that the so-called Hebrew evolved from a regional dialect, not an independent language, the ancient language. Archaeological silence. The supposed biblical figures like David, Solomon, are not attested in any archaeological evidence outside the Bible. The Tel Dan stele mentioned a house of David is vague and does not definitely prove David's existence. Solomon's temple and reign, central to Jewish tradition, leave no archaeological traces apart from descriptions found in the Bible. You'd think that the richest, wisest man on earth would have left something, some evidence of his existence. He didn't, because he didn't exist. Simple as that. King David, the patriarch of there's no evidence he existed. Oh no, none. But they say the house of David, they grab at straws, and they think that sooner or later they're going to have to dig something up in the desert that's going to say, oh, yes, this is all real. And then in Jerusalem, it's all manufactured. You can take a tour right now, go to Israel or Palestine, and you can take tours of total fiction, just fiction. I mean, you're walking around, this is where David was. This isn't bullshit. That's just the facts, man. It's bullshit. It's like Mickey Mouse going to Disney World, like Mickey, Minnie. These are all fictional characters, and so is David, Solomon, all that's fiction. The fiction of Exodus and the patriarchs. The Exodus as myth. Scholars such as Finkelstein and Silverman in The Bible on Earth argue that the Exodus story is literal creation, possibly adapted from earlier Mesopotamian myths, like that of Sargon of Akkad, who shares a narrative similar to Moses' birth. There is no Egyptian record of mass Hebrew exodus, or there's no archaeological evidence either, and there's none of them a wandering population matching the biblical narrative. 0 minus nothing. There's no evidence. Case dismissed. No, I'm just kidding. Moses and the law. Like Judge Dredd, the law. The Mosaic Law bears striking similarities to the Egyptian Book of the Dead and the Hittite legal codes, leading some scholars to propose that the Torah's laws were borrowed or adapted or stolen from other Near Eastern traditions. Now you're on to something. The temple in Jerusalem, Venus and multiple deities. Let's go back to it. I've done this the other day, but this is more in-depth. So this is more for my in-depth advanced students to really look up. Herodotus. The multi-deity worshipped. The ancient historian Herodotus described temples in Jerusalem where Venus and other gods were worshipped. You baby, we got it. I'm your Venus. I'm the fire of your desire. Indicating that YHWH was not originally the sole deity. The transition to strict monotheism appears to have happened been a gradual development influenced by Persian dualism. Jerusalem's Persian name. Some scholars argue that even the name Jerusalem reflects Persian etymology, suggesting deeper control and rebranding of the city during Persian rule. It's a Persian name, man. Yerushalayim, city of peace. They named it that because of the wars, you know. You get it? City of peace. No one named it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're going to believe what you want. Pick up your Bible, your Bible. Okay. Modern Jewish identity. Conversion, not lineage. And I went over this before, and I am going over it again. DNA evidence in European descent. Studies of Ashkenazi Jewish populations reveal significant European genetic markers, challenging the notion of a direct descent from ancient Israelites. Scholars such as Shlomo Sand, in the invention of the Jewish people, argue that many Jews today descend from converts, such as Khazars and others, rather than biblical Hebrews. Now let's go to this one. This is very, very controversial. Here it comes. Benjamin Netanyahu's name change. The Polish roots of the Netanyahu family illustrate how modern Jewish identity has been shaped by political narratives rather than historical continuity. The Cohen priestly line is also contested, with no verifiable evidence supporting its ancient legitimacy. It's just manufactured, baby. So why do they do this? Okay, we're getting into that. The political use of invented history. Palestinian land claims. The narrative of a divinely promised land used to justify Jewish claims to Palestine is derived solely from biblical texts that lack archaeological corroboration. Scholars argue that modern state of Israel rests on mythical foundations, making the political exploitation of these myths deeply problematic. We're going to get into this, but we'll keep going. Judaism as a recent construct. If the core elements of Judaism were developed under Persian influence, which it was, and biblical narratives are largely mythical, then the claim of Judaism being an ancient indigenous religion just simply falls apart. This forces us to confront the uncomfortable reality that religions often serve political and social agendas and greed, rather than embodying historical truths. Judaism, far from being an ancient divine revelation, appears to be a construct that evolved through Persian influence, religious borrowing, and political opportunism. The absence of archaeological and historical evidence for key biblical narratives like Exodus, Moses, Solomon undermines the notion of Judaism as an authentic, ancient religion. Modern Jewish identity, rooted in conversion and political myth, highlights the dangers of believing religious narratives without critical examination. The task before us is to seek historical truth, even when it challenges deeply held beliefs. The world cannot afford to base politics and identity on myths and fabrications. As scholars, we must embrace fact over faith and truth over fiction. I've got the references up there, right? On my Substack. You can get there by, I didn't put it in the description of this video, but I could, but I'm not. Because you can go to our community where we post stuff, and it says, hey, go look at my Substack. You can read, I'm going to keep putting papers up there. I got more, hundreds. And you can, it'll get to you. Today, Dr. Price did something on Simon Magus, which, it could be Jesus. Well, he doesn't really necessarily think that's the case. I don't either. I don't really think anything. I put the evidence out there, and you decide what you believe, what you think. And if you look it up, more power to you, baby boy, baby girl, and all those in between. So what can we do? What do we have to do? Well, the first thing is if Judaism is bunk, and in all the Abrahamic religions would be bunk because Abraham never existed. Do you believe he did? Well, you can believe it all day long. I believe I have a gigamundo whatever, but I can believe it. I got $1 billion, and I'll believe that too. But I encourage everyone to be critical into origins of religion and unmask the constructed narratives that have influenced the world and politics. Everything, by the way, is anti-Semitic. I mean, if you fart, it's anti-Semitic. If you breathe, it's anti-Semitic. It's hysteria. It's all crap. Then you have a group like the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, just total bullshit. And then you have the Southern Poverty Law Center. You used to have this guy named Morris Dees, right? They lie, they spin things, and I encourage everyone to watch Candace Owens on Piers Morgan when she debated Rabbi Shmuley, the guy who makes butt plugs and stuff, or whatever that is. But the thing is if you ever noticed, they hate Persians. Well, that's because the Persians are actually the real Pharisees. But the thing is so that they hate Persia and they always want war with Iran. Okay, they demand, they used to have this thing where you had Benjamin Netanyahu, and Netanyahu came out with this chart, how close they are to a nuclear bomb, right? Look like Wile E. Coyote and shit, and people, excuse me, man, it's the sinus drain is driving me nuts. And the thing is he used to come out with that on the UN, and people used to blast it, man, making fun of it, because everybody knew it was a lie. But I want to say, look at Gaza right now. I mean, it's just horrific. I mean, people, they deserve it because you're hiding these terrorists. You believe the propaganda of the mainstream media, the Zionist-owned media. Let's call it that. You can take a look at it, and they're just throwing it out there. I'm not a Zionist, and I want these wars to end, and I want this genocide, which is what it is. They have warrants out for I know Netanyahu and this other cat. Why? Because they're committing genocide. They're just bullshitting. But that's just my opinion. I'm not here to spread misinformation because, it's a protected thing. But, do you not like Jewish folks? No, I don't care. I mean, look, if I walk into a nut house, right, which is what the world is, every time you step out your front door, you're in the fucking nut house. And I go in there and there's people that believe that they're aliens and shit. Just because they're in delusion doesn't mean I have to hate them. Now, if they're in delusion where they're attacking other people and they're not medicated, then yes, we have to step in to stop that. Just like in Gaza Strip. My tax money that we pay taxes are going to weapons, bombs that are killing people and stuff like that. I think that should stop. I mean, that's me. I am not, I repeat, not a Republican. I'm not a Zionist. I don't receive any money from Zionist organizations. I do not propagate any Hamas organizations either, because I have nothing to do whatsoever with any of that. But what I look at is this construct, okay? And I've been studying it for years. I mean, I'm 57 years old, okay? Yeah, that's old. If I was 18, I'd be like, Grandpa, and you wouldn't be lying. Okay, so when I started to study, before I ever went to college, I was actually after I got out of high school, and I got my diploma, I had to go in the military. So what I did was I went all around the world, and I went to Auschwitz in Poland, and I started going everywhere, and I came up with this theory, and maybe you want to hear it. All the Jews, to me, look like Emperor Constantine. And this theory, I started doing research on it, and it might not be that far-fetched, because Constantine, he lived in Constantinople, the the first Christian city, where this guy had a lot of sex, by the way. I mean, and he had kids all over the place, man, thousands of them probably. Who knows? The guy was, and he wasn't faithful. I mean, he was just whatever he was, okay? So then I think the people, then all of a sudden they became like Jews. But that was my original thought. But, back then. Then I started researching and researching and researching. And why am I so stuck in this? And then I started doing biblical studies, and then I started doing world history. And my dad, he passed away in 2017. He worked at the Library of Congress. And this man could tell you when Benjamin Franklin took a crap. I mean, he knew everything about our founders. I mean, every letter, the hairs on everything. So I'd listen to him. He'd tell me stories about the World Bank and the USA Bank and how the 1913 during New Year's or Christmas or something, that the Federal Reserve was created. By the way, the Federal Reserve is a private bank. It's not federal. It's not federal at all. It's a private bank owned by certain families. And these families, the Rothschilds, the Schiffs, the Warburgs, the blah, 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 they have one thing and one thing in common. They call themselves Jewish, which is pretty terrible. Then the Rockefeller, who's not. So we have a lot of people that are involved in this criminal act. Our money has went downhill, but that's okay. We'll get in that later. Let's get back on. I'll get back on topic here. We have to not accept lies. Okay, everything you've been taught could have been a lie, and this is a lie. That Hebrew people existed outside the Bible. There's absolutely no such thing. You can't find it. There is no such thing. And how YHWH appeared, right? And I like David Litwa's book, but not just his book, but when I started studying the Shazu people, maybe you out there can help me. Shazu. You can spell it, look it up. It's on the wall. It's written in Egypt. And the Shazu people, they were taken captive because they were good bad people. Just let's say this: they robbed, they stole, they killed. Well, there's really no record of them killing that I could find actually, but there is inferences to it. So they were arrested and basically put in jail. They're kind of like Otis or Andy Griffith. They came into the city and they just take shit that didn't belong to them and they get arrested in Egypt. And they boot them. Well, they got booted out and they started hanging out with the Midianites, which lived in Midian. And the Kenites, and I believe there's several others. And they lived in an area where there was tons of storms. And I usually used to know the name of that place, and it might come to me as we're talking, or I'm talking to you. But that's where their storm god came from, YHWH. And a lot of people believed that the story about Moses following the donkey, and the donkey led them, and Yahweh was it was a sound, or awawasha, whatever the name, was the sound of a braying ass, according to Dr. David Litwa's book. Well, not just that too, but also in some historical context. Why do we have to pretend around people? I know that, you'll hurt their feelings. But it's okay to pretend that you're something you're not in America. Oh, it is. And around the world, I mean, you can just pretend you're something you're not. But as far as Judaism, I've wondered, I asked when I was a kid, I said, why do the Jews have a star? They said, that's the Star of David. David didn't exist. But the star is not, David never had a star on his shield, on his swords, or any of that stuff. That star represents a lot more than you can imagine. I'm not sitting here saying, it's Satanism. No, it represents a family, and the Rothschilds. But it goes back to man and God type deal. And I believe that Simon the sorcerer If you can look it up online, I'm pretty sure that he used that star, air, water, or whatever, all the stuff. You can take a look at that too, if you wouldn't mind looking that up. And y'all leave some comments. I mean, in here, you can get, because right now this is recorded. I'm still here watching it as you hear me talk right now. This is the recorded me, but the real me is watching to answer questions maybe in the chat. Do I think that, like, I'll get into Islam too. I mean, Islam, Muslims, it's constructed. There's no way he wrote all those hadiths. I mean, he did, whether he existed or didn't exist, Muhammad, I think he did not exist. I mean, I can pretty much prove that. But if he did, he was just an idiot that was used by some pretty, powerful people at the time to gain power over people. See, here's the thing. This whole construct of where we live in our nations, and we live in the United States, is they have to have the mainstream media to control you. Oh yeah, to give you your opinion, okay? And it's all the way they say it. It's kind of like right now. Trump is in the lead. He's ready to be president of the United States. Right now, they're pushing Kamala. They're going to try to do whatever they're going to do, whether that, whatever they got to do to win or steal it or what have you. They'll do anything in their power because, see, they want to keep us on this. And if you look up, if you have any brains, you can look up these books. Rules for Radicals, right, is one of the books, right? I believe it's Cloward Piven. I can't remember who wrote that. I used to know. It's about how you wreck the economy, flood them with immigrants. It's pretty much, it takes you through to Marxism, and then it takes you into communism. And people say, oh, communism. No, communism is slavery. The state owns everything, and you're a slave to the state. Same thing as when you're a black person. You go back to 1840, 1820. What it does is it doesn't just make black folks slaves, which was a horrible, horrible fucking thing. Okay, and I condemn slavery in any form. Any form. Well, unless you're old lady in your bedroom doing role playing, then hey, fucking do what you want. But but here's the thing. It's not, we are not slaves. They think we are, these elites. And the scary thing about it is, what is the elite religion? I actually wrote something on this shit. I'm trying to find it. If you want me to read it, and go through it, I can. I actually have something that I did on the elites, and I'm trying to look on my computer to find it. You might like it. What is the religion of the elites? Come on, man. Where the heck did I put it, man? Like that, right? I'm pretty sure that I have it. Maybe I'll do it on the next one. It's really interesting because I actually went through the whole. This one's really it's really long too. If I can, where the hell is it? But pretty long. It's, man, I've got so much stuff. I hate to do this to you. I just got to find the religion of the elites because I spent like hours researching this, days. Probably 2 or 3 days, right? Is this it? Wait a minute. I think I have it. I was studying Noam Chomsky, which I don't really like that fucking guy, but whatever. The battle for freedom, why the elites must be dismantled, right? Throughout history, civilizations have struggled between two forces: the elites with hoard wealth and power, and the masses who seek freedom and equality. In our current era, this divide has become more pronounced. The elites, interconnected class of politicians, corporate magnates, and media tycoons and global financiers have grown stronger, while ordinary people are increasingly controlled by misinformation, debt, and fear. If we want to preserve our freedom, we must resist these systems of control. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but if you want me to, I will. If you say, leaving the comments in the chat over there. I'll continue, but I can't. I'm recording it, but I can still keep playing it. Who are the elites? The elites are not merely wealthy individuals, but members of a powerful network. These include government officials aligned with corporate interests, communism, financial institutions that manipulate economies for profit, Marxism, media conglomerates that shape narratives and public opinion, owned media, big tech companies that surveil and control information flow, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of them. Their agenda is not to serve the common good, but to consolidate power, often under the guise of democracy. You're a threat to our democracy. You hear them say that nonsense. A threat to their power is what they should say. Security or economic development. The elites have created a global system that benefits themselves at the expense of everyone else. Military-industrial complex. The system of control manufactures consent and divide and conquer. The elites rely on psychological manipulation and social division to maintain power. Mass media and propaganda following the playbook of thinkers like Edward Bernays. The media manufactures consent for wars, economic exploitation, and policies that strip away freedoms. People are fed curated information that keeps them compliant and unaware of the true nature of the elite's control. Wow. I know you're getting a double take tonight. Debt and economic dependency. Through predatory lending, the working class is trapped in a cycle of debt slaves. Banks and international institutions like the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, impose austerity measures that impoverish nations. Social fragmentation, dividing society along the lines of race, class, ideology, serves to keep people fighting among themselves, distracted from the real source of oppression, those at the top. Why the elites must be removed. To ensure the survival of freedom, we must dismantle the elite networks. Freedom cannot coexist with the system that concentrates wealth and power among a few individuals. If we don't act, our future will be one of increasing surveillance, economic slavery, and digital control. Kamala Harris. The dangers of digital authoritarianism. Government and corporations are moving toward a system of total surveillance, using tools like biometric monitoring and artificial intelligence to control behavior. The erosion of sovereignty, national borders, and cultural identities are being eroded by transitional elites who push globalism, not to unite the world, but to centralize control. The destruction of the media middle class. The elites thrive when inequality grows. If we fail to resist the middle class, historically a stabilizing force will be eradicated, leaving only a small, wealthy ruling class and a vast underclass. How do we fight back? Education and awareness is what I'm doing right now. The first step is waking people up, teaching critical thinking, and expose the manipulation in media and politics and religion. Economic resistance, support decentralized currencies and local economies. The elites thrive by controlling financial systems. If we decentralize wealth, they lose power. Anyone can say digital currency? That's what they want. Civil disobedience. Here I am, ready to kick your ass. Use peaceful resistance to challenge oppressive systems, protest, boycott, and organize to disrupt the networks of control. Kind of like what those students were doing on campus when they wanted to defund Israel, but they were stopped, called names, and propagandized. They're Hamas supporters. They were not. Unity across divisions. We must overcome the divide and conquer tactics and unite people against these damn elites, regardless of race, religion, or political belief, or religious belief. The historical precedent, elites always fall. History has shown that no ruling class can maintain its grips forever. From the fall of the Roman Empire to the French and Russian revolutions, elites have been overthrown time and time again when the masses awaken to their power. The only question is whether we act in time to prevent further damage or suffer until the system collapses under its own weight. Conclusion, blah, blah, blah. The moral imperative of resistance. If we allow the elites to continue their reign unchecked, we lose not only our freedoms, but also our opportunity to build in a just and equitable society. The elite's pursuit of profit and power must not be the guiding principle of humanity. The future belongs to those who resist oppression and seek liberation for all. Freedom is not something that is given. It is something that must be fought for. Vigilance. Every single day, we owe it to ourselves, our children, and our future generations to dismantle the structures that hold us captive. There is no freedom if we continue to live under the rule of the elites. Let us act now before it's too late. Let's take a look at their religions now. I said I would. Let's do it. The religious and philosophical views attributed to the elites are often veiled in secrecy, speculation, and myth. While the public affiliations of many elites may include mainstream religions like Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, there are persistent theories that some elites engage in esoteric, occult, or mystical practices. Let's take a look at these, right? These kind of ideologies, belief systems. Occultism. Okay, this is who cares? Occult, secret, and esoteric, hidden, like that. Some elites have historically been associated with occult organizations like the Freemasons, which let us not forget the good fellas. I'm just kidding. The odd fellas. No one ever brings them up. The whatever, the Ring, the Rabbinic Order of the Golden Dawn, or the Rosicrucian, Rosy Cross. Which Rosicrucian, they have this order. I can get into this bunch of bullshit too, just nonsense. And then the Golden Dawn, that means someone pees on you, by the way. Philosopher's Stone, Golden Dawn, you get someone wake up and pissing on you. These groups explore ancient mysticism, alchemy, which is nothing but whatever, pharmacy, astrology, and hidden knowledge, esotericism. What hidden knowledge? Here it comes. The Kabbalah. Certain celebrities and elites, such as members of Hollywood, are known for their Kabbalistic teaching, a mystical interpretation of Jewish texts. The version of Kabbalah, often simplified, emphasizes personal empowerment insight. It's also a bullshit book. I did a video on it. It's total bullshit. I studied the Kabbalah for years, okay? In the Kabbalah. If you want to study it, but it's just bullshit. Hermeticism and Gnosticism. These ancients, come on, man, I'm a Gnostic. These ancient systems emphasize hidden knowledge, gnosis, and spiritual development, enlightenment, which resonate. They don't practice this at all. I don't know what the hell. I wrote this paper like 15 years ago. Secular and humanistic ideologies. Secular. What the fuck? Some elites subscribe to scientific materialism or secular humanism. Beliefs that, listen to me, this was like, I think I wrote this in 1999. Beliefs that reject traditional religious systems in favor of rationalism, personal achievement, and individualism. That's just not the God complex. There's one. Theory posits that elites may view themselves as superior, with some believing they have achieved a godlike status through wealth and influence, rejecting the notion of a higher divine authority altogether. Transhumanism, with its focus on human, enchantment through technology, is also popular among the tech elites. Yeah, they like to play with something. Here we go. Can you believe I wrote this fucking shit? Luciferian, which is total nonsense, and Promethean, oh my God, symbolism. Some conspiracy theories claim that the elites follow Luciferian beliefs, which celebrate enlightenment, rebellion, and personal freedom. This interpretation draws from the idea that Lucifer is a symbol of knowledge and defiance rather than literal devil. It's nonsense. Promethean symbol, I don't believe any of this, derived from the myth of Prometheus, who gave the fire knowledge to humans, also reflects the idea that some elites see themselves as bearers of knowledge, entitled to reshape the world as they see fit. I agree with partial of that. They think that fuck them. Rituals and secret societies. Now here we go. Secret societies like Bohemian Grove are rumored to involve ceremonial rituals that hint at occult or symbolic practices, such as gatherings elites supposedly engage in mock rituals or symbolic performances representing themes of power and renewal. Now listen, that guy Alex Jones snuck into Bohemian Grove, and he took video of them doing the cremation of care, which they sacrifice a child in effigy, to the cremation of care. so they can kill care, so they don't care about nothing, to a owl statue resembling Moloch, they say. Moloch is an ancient Canaan Phoenician, Jewish, same thing, deity, okay? And in my opinion, and I can, let me give it to you, let me show you, okay, they believed Moloch was like the bad side of God that demanded sacrifice. When they fucked up, they're messed up, their crops didn't grow, people died, they thought that God was pissed at them. So they built this oven, and they took human children and they put it in the hands of Moloch. That's what it means by what a terrible thing to fall in the hands of a living God, in the Bible, because it's the same bullshit, okay? This angry God that you owe him. You owe. Total bullshit. Get it, bullshit? The bull God. Okay, so these assholes at the Bilderberg group, or not Bilderberg, excuse me, the Bohemian Grove, right? Richard Nixon says it was all gay. He didn't use that term either. A bunch of gay guys that run around trying to do shit. Whatever, trying to live like Zabbatai Zebi, whatever, the Frankists, going around doing the worst absolute sin they could commit, which is not even sin, it's just bullshit, making them feel bad. But for people that are supposedly running the world, these world leaders to sit there and try to murder a child in effigy, there's something wrong with these motherfuckers, okay? I mean, this. Yeah, that's what we do on Saturday and Sunday. We get together and we pretend we're murdering children. That's fucked up, man. No matter how you look at it, these people are fucked up. Okay? The Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, while these groups focus on political and economic cooperation, their secrecy fuels speculation that align with hidden spiritual or ideological beliefs that go beyond ordinary politics. Look, man, fuck the Bilderberg Group, fuck the Trilateral Commission. There's a lot of us, man. Who cares what they're doing? They're sitting there hiding in secret like little Henry Kissinger, you know what I mean? Little midget, whatever. The control of symbols and archetypes. Elites are often associated with using symbolism such as the eye of providence or pyramids, believed to reflect ancient esoteric ideas or power and knowledge. These symbols appear on currency, corporate logos, and public art, reinforce the idea that the elites operate under spiritual frameworks based on control and influence. That's true. Okay. Let me explain to you something. Red is the sun and blue is the moon. This goes way back. It was, they didn't know what blue was. Yes, they did. So what they do is it's always the sun and the moon. It's like Target is the bull, the bull god. It's red. You haven't noticed, with a target, with a bullseye. Okay, it's a symbol. Then you have Walmart, which is blue, and it's got the little star thing, blah, you understand? Okay, it's the night, the star of Venus, or whatever. Okay, all this symbolism is everywhere you look. Look at Wall Street. They got the bull there, the bull god, the Torah. Get it? Torah, bull. Terra bull. Get it? Torah bull. Okay, it's all symbolism. Man, and that's really something that not anyone on YouTube is going through. And really pointing out all these Gnostics that claim that I can show you in the next video or whatever. I'll do a video with me on the damn screen, and I just got to get all my shit together. I've actually been working on that for you guys out there, and hopefully you can get something really rocking and rolling for you, man, where you can fall in love with me. You know what I mean? You guys will hold hands. That's it. All right. And the thing is, I love to make people laugh because I'm a comic. I'm a comedian. I'm actually, and I love, because I'm really just naturally that way because I'm an asshole. So I see things in a real negative light. What do you need over there? Come over here, people around me are all they don't like me because I'm fucked up. All right. Religion, power. While the exact spiritual beliefs of the elite remain speculative, their behavior suggests a fascination with control, secrecy, and hidden knowledge. Values that align with both ancient esoteric traditions and modern secular ideologies, whether through symbolic rituals or cult affiliations. With the pursuit of personal empowerment, the elites appear to engage with systems that reinforce their power over society. Understanding these frameworks can help shed light on the mechanisms of control that they employ and how can we resist them? Well, fuck them. And we can go to Agenda 2030, the Global Initiative, enslavement, right? Greta, how dare you? Little fucking dumbass. But the thing is it's a climate global nonsense. We're not getting into that, man. You're like, oh, good, you're gonna end your fucking video. Yeah, probably. All I can say to you is resist, resist, resist. And as far as the Jewish religion, it's just made up, man. It's just this construct. It's not real. It's not ancient. The Bible is just a book, a fictional, mythological book, with bogus shit in there. It didn't even happen. It's got this angry God who always wants to go kill people and take some virgins from me too, because I like virgins. I like money. You like money. And there's no time for a hand job, like idiocracy, like that. Not sure. Okay, if everyone out there stands their ground, stands firm, and they're critical of every fucking thing, everything. I don't care what it is. I don't care. I mean, you ever seen Vinnie Barbarino? Y'all are probably too young for this. Some of you out there. Welcome Back, Kotter. When Kotter asked him a question, the teacher asked Vinnie Barbarino, he goes, what? When? Where? Why? He just constantly asks these questions, which is beautiful. When someone tells you something that they want you to believe, and you can feel that they want you to believe it, right? And usually it's a fucking lie. Okay? See, become a stoic, a little bit. Kind of relax. Don't be all fucked up. Just relax, man. And vote Trump, because I vote in Trump. I don't give a fuck about that Kamala broad. She's losing anyway, man. She's just really needs to lose. I mean, she's a liar. I mean, look at her. Here's the thing. I can tell a bad person by just looking at them and feeling their energy, which I don't even believe. But she's got terrible, terrible energy. Just terrible. And when she talks with that nasally twang, she's so disingenuous and cringe. Okay, enough of the politics. I started this with the Jewish construct. It's constructed. It's not real. And since it's not real, then the stories aren't real. The people aren't real. And you've been fed a load of horse shit. So wake up to it, baby boy. Wake up, baby girl. And remember, man, to be wise as a serpent. I love y'all.